Diamonds in the rough. NFL Draft Diamonds. Time to shine.
Hi, my name is Jimmy Williams with NFL Draft Diamonds, and today I have with me Shamarius Gilmore. He's an offensive lineman out of Georgia State. How's it going, buddy?
Hey, how you doing? I'm doing pretty well. How about yourself?
Doing well, buddies. Nice to have you on. Been really interested in you and your game. Obviously, a well-established offensive lineman there in the Sun Belt Conference. So, why don't you go ahead and just kind of tell us a little bit about your journey, maybe where you're from, and how you got there to Georgia State.
Well, I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. Raised on the south side of Atlanta. Coming out of Drew High School in Riverdale, Georgia. I was being recruited by Tim Lupano, which was under the previous staff of Coach Miles. Then, throughout that season, Coach Miles was terminated through the middle of the season, and they brought Sean Elliott in the following January. And yeah, so that was kind of like the intro to my college. And, me and Coach Elliott used to have sit-down talks about how we want to change the program, because at that point, the program was only had it been up for 6 years. So we talked about changing the program, and 6 years later, we've done that.
Great. I introduced you as an offensive lineman, but tell me a little bit about that experience level, like on that offensive line, maybe where you've played and that sort of thing.
So I've started a lot of games at left guard. I've also started a game at right tackle, and got a lot of practice. I feel like at all 5 positions, mainly interior though.
So, we're looking at a guy that's probably got really more experience than almost any other, not just lineman, but probably any other prospect in this entire NFL draft. 59 starts? Is that for real?
Yes, sir. 59 starts.
So 59 starts, been all conference probably a million times over. I know you were at least first time there in the Sun Belt a couple of times. So, again, like I had already mentioned, very well established, offensive lineman there in your conference. But, geez, man, like your level of experience at the college level is just insane, man. So, during your time, playing there, obviously you played against a lot of different guys. So, of all the guys that you've ever played against, who are some of the top names that come to mind when you think about some of the talent you've had to play over the years?
Some top guys I've played against. A couple of them I don't know their names personally. That was just another number on the jersey. A few kids from Auburn this past season. Back in my freshman year, I played against Penn State. That was some high competition right there when Saquon was still in college.
Mm-hmm.
A couple years back, we played Tennessee. But, you mainly know people in your conference. So, can't remember his name right now.
I'm just trying to think about some guys. Obviously, really a lot of great talent there. When you think about some of the guys that you had to face, Appalachian State got some, great, defensive tackles, which, I know that you've, seen regularly. Also Coastal, you guys are, playing against them.
Definitely. CJ Brewer from Coastal is a great player.
Oh,
and also DeMarco, the linebacker from Appalachian State, he's a good player. And I can't remember his name right now, but Zoe number 4 from the University of Louisiana Lafayette is pretty good.
Yeah, a lot of great talent that I know you've seen. Obviously, with all of your experience over the past 5 years, you've met a lot of wonderful talent, still able to stay, relatively healthy. A guy who takes care of himself, does his job out there very well. What do you feel really is the best part of your game, buddy? What do you feel separates you as a prospect?
I feel like, my mindset also is one thing that sets me apart, the get better, get at least 1% better every day. Also staying in my playbook and, staying in the meeting room, being able to talk to my coaches and respond, translating, the like from the film room to the field is always a big thing for me. In my game, in my run game, I feel like it's progressively gotten better, especially this last season. I felt I was very dominant in the run game. I was very physical. I was working to finish. In the pass game, a lot of people think pass is passive for offensive linemen, but I don't think so. I feel like I'm very violent at the point of attack. I like to, sometimes I like to jump set against guys, get my hands on them to show them, it's not nothing to play with. So, yeah, I feel like my game is pretty solid all around.
So obviously you said you've practiced a little bit of everywhere on the offensive line, but really my question to you is, what sort of role do you see yourself playing at the next level? I mean, obviously a guy who I know has had like a ton of experience there at left guard, but just kind of overall, like within the team structure, what kind of role do you see yourself playing?
With the position change, I done had a lot of talks with people. Figuring if I can snap, and yes, I can snap. Just for everybody watching, I can. I've taken reps at center. I've taken reps at right guard. So anywhere in the interior, and if you down, you down. I can get out there on that island too. But mainly interior is what I've been focusing on.
Definitely. I mean, and again, I mean, with a guy your size, I mean, you really wouldn't necessarily want to put him out there on the outside. But I mean, you have a guy who is just so well established there on the interior. Why? Where else would you put him? I mean, you've known that position for a very long time. So I mean, you got to love a player like that for sure. So again, Shamarius, I mean, had a great career there, and then that ended up with you getting an invite to the College Gridiron Showcase out in Fort Worth, Texas. So tell us a little bit about that event and any story you want to share about that.
Oh man, it was a great experience, going out there and being able to meet Jose, Mike Rudelman, all those guys that, put in the word for me. I came out there, it was a great experience. There was a lot of competition out there from, big schools to small schools. And it was just, people say, if you can play, they're going to find you. And like, they found a lot of talent to come out there. And I felt like I had a pretty good showing out there, being able to talk to scouts, being able to talk to scouts and, talk to some former players, and the personnel that they had there was amazing. It was basically like the player being a sponge and being able to take in as much information as you can.
So, I mean, obviously, you go to an event like that, two things really happen. I mean, number one, obviously, well, actually, a few things happen, but I mean, obviously, you go out there and you compete, but you also, along the way, kind of gain some relationships. I mean, maybe meet some guys that you have never met or like played against, or other guys like in other conferences. Is there any other guys out there that you met that you're trying to keep up with still?
Jason Poe from Mercer. He was one of my guys out there. I felt like me and him, we had a few conversations. We still, text every now and then, but he was a guy coming out of a small school, projected undersized, guy gonna move him inside. But yeah, Jason Poe has been one of the main guys that came to my mind. And
Poe's a solid dude. I know him.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, he's pretty good. And Wesley from Western Michigan, the center, he was pretty good. So those two guys, other than myself, that I felt like stood up.
Right on. So I mean, also like you had already mentioned, I mean, you sit down with some of these NFL scouts, man. I mean, tell me maybe how you felt about those experiences. I mean, you don't have to tell me like all the teams or anything, but I mean, maybe like some of the correspondence with them. I mean, any sort of questions or just kind of that experience overall.
It was really exciting experience. I thought I was gonna be nervous, but it was really exciting experience. I think they had 30 out of 32 NFL teams there. So it was I thought it was gonna be, oh my good, but it's really you chasing your dreams. So being able just to get in there and just be excited. We sat down. They wanted to get to know me as a person, a player, uh, and they wanted to know what I wanted to know about ball. So they had me drop a couple of plays, couple of fronts, see if I knew how to move and things of that nature.
So I mean, as they were doing that and saying, here, draw up some plays. What's maybe some of your better plays, maybe even better moments, even maybe a highlight of your career, if you don't mind sharing.
Highlight of my career. I say, okay, I'm gonna stick to the first part that you said plays. Okay, so
Sure, let's
the
we,
plays.
we can go down the line. That's fine.
Yeah. So my favorite plays, favorite thing, well, mainly ran was inside zone, and it's a simple concept, but we was kind of more in the had like tags and reads with it. So leading on to that, some of my favorite plays came from inside zone. That was our bread and butter. So that's how we mainly scored. So I can remember times that I'll down block on the nose. Me and my center Malik would, if it's if it's a shade or a backside G, I step with him. We'll get up and just get like the type of movement we got and put him usually put the nose in the lap of the linebacker, or if it's a three technique backside, me and Travis Glover, who stands at 6'6", 330, so me and him jack up, I jack him up right here, and Travis just comes, reach my hip, come behind, and we push him back 5 yards every time. So
That's awesome. I mean, again, I had to give a shout out to some of your guys there.
some of my guys.
Anybody else there at Georgia State that people need to know moving forward? I mean, who's like going to be that one guy who's going to have a breakout season in fall 2022?
I ain't gonna lie, I feel like it's a lot of guys that can be able to have a breakout season. The four linemen that I left: Malik Sumter, Travis Glover, Patrick Bartlett, and Jonathan Bass. I feel like those are my guys, and I'll bet a house on them. But it's Darren Granger. Darren Granger, the quarterback.
Absolutely.
Also Jamias Williams and Tucker Gregg, like those two running backs right there. I don't think anybody has a work ethic like them, especially Tucker Gregg. And on the defensive side of the ball, I like Antavius Lane and Barclays Brown, for sure.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, again, you just mentioned a few guys, but I mean, obviously, got to mention your buddies there on the line, and especially your quarterback, who I personally feel is really just waiting on that one breakout season. So hoping hoping to see some more of you guys really show out like next season. So
Yes, sir.
again, like we had already mentioned, we get a guy here in Shamarius Gilmore, very experienced guy, been there for quite some time.
All the time.
During your time, playing there, either at Georgia State or even going back to high school, is there maybe a lesson that you've learned from a coach that kind of still sticks with you today?
Football is I say a game of quotes, man. Every coach has their own quotes. But something I always learned from my high school offensive line coach, Coach Dixon, man, always bet on you. Always bet on yourself. Always believe in the work you put in, and just never always bet on yourself and never give up. So that's one thing I always think about.
Great. And like if you were able to maybe go back in time a little bit, maybe talk to your that high school self, give him some pointers as he's going into, college ball. What would you tell him? What kind of advice would you give him?
Man, as a kid coming out of high school, playing a lot of games, don't get discouraged when you don't start your first season. uh, always keep your head up and keep a smile on your face, man. It's always better days ahead.
Yeah, well, again, not too many people get a chance to start like you. So obviously, again, very very experienced guy. I mean, good lord, dude! Each and every time I look at that number, I always am just shocked. But I do want to get a chance, buddy. I do want to meet who you are like outside of this game of football. So tell us maybe something fun, interesting about yourself, unique, special. hobbies, interests, passions, whatever you want to call it. Give us something.
All right, so I'm gonna just start off by telling you I have a pretty big family. I have, I'm one of 14 siblings, so I got, so yeah, I got 11 sisters and 2 brothers, and we can come together a lot. I was with them this past weekend, and I had got a little free time. But yeah, man, I'm real family oriented. So when I
Obviously.
get a lot of free time, I like going home. Some of our best spots we like to do, like things we like to do at home, because I like to barbecue, man. I ain't gonna lie. That's one thing I'm gonna say right now. I can cook. I feel like I can cook. You can ask like the people I'm up here training with. I done chefed it up for them, and I feel like I can cook. That's one of my hobbies. You can go ahead and put that in there. But yeah. So just going to the lake and being able to, just chill out, and my dad likes to fish, and I'm coming up. I feel like I'm getting better with my fishing.
Sure.
But yeah, we like to do a little bass fishing, sometimes a little bank fishing. So we go out there. I like fishing with my pops, and then just being able to just hang around my family and relax.
So, kind of just going back a little bit, you said you feel like you're a darn good cook. What is that one dish that you feel is like your best? Like, what is that signature dish for you?
And
Because you
they
said
like to
you
throw.
said barbecue, so I mean, I'm just trying to get people's mouths watering,
Oh, you talking about barbecue? Oh, we can do
or
anything on
whatever
the
else. I
grill.
mean, whatever you feel is like your best dish.
I ain't gonna lie. So me and my old roommate, we had bought a smoker. Man, got a little pork butt. You got to get the right seasons though. You can't just we had, because it was one of my first times with the smoker, so had to learn how to get the good dry rub, get it nice and good, put it in the smoker for like, I think I had in there like 5 hours. Pulled that guy up. As soon as you pick it up, oh, it's just dropping it. Hey, that's all. But
Dude,
no,
I'm gonna be real, man. I mean, I'm gonna keep your contact information. Like whenever like I'm even down in your area, man. I'm gonna be giving you a call. Be like, where you got anything on that smoker?
hey man, hey,
So,
I really do be on there. You catch me on the weekends. I'm really on the grill of the smoker.
hey, man. You feel like I mean, I kind of joke about it a little bit, but I mean, you feel like that might end up being your profession, like way down the line. Like, have you ever thought about like what your profession would be if there was no football?
I always thought about being a chef. I got my degree in education. I always thought about coaching and also teaching. But you said no. You said no football, so
I'm
you
just
know
saying, theoretically.
theoretically. But no, I always had plans of being a chef. Open up my own little spot.
Dude, man, ain't nothing wrong with that. I mean, people make some darn good money off of that, and you make my mouth water just talking about that stuff. So, I mean, it's definitely something neat. So, one thing I was going to ask you is, you know, obviously, your goal is to get to a league. Your goal is to be able to make that money to create generational wealth. So that's obviously one of the big things for people. So let's just say you do have that wealth, you do have that money that you can maybe put towards like maybe a charity or a cause. Have you ever thought about perhaps like what you would do with that money, like how you would give back?
Yeah, it's always different causes. Like right now, well, throughout my last season, I was working with my old community. Like I was going out. Like even before the last season, I was going back to hand out book bags for back to school. I was down there. And they had me talk to a few young men down there in Riverdale. So yeah, I always want to get back to my community. And then
Awesome. You can keep going.
oh yeah, and even today when I left the grocery store, it was a cause out there for children's suicide prevention. I sat out there and talked to the guy for like 20 minutes after I already got my groceries, and made a donation to them. So I always try to give back to the causes.
Nice. So obviously, a guy who's willing to give back and put his time and efforts into that. So, cool. So I guess right now we are transitioning towards your pro day. We're in draft season. I mean, we're so. Why don't you just kind of tell us a little bit about when that pro day is going to happen, maybe where you're training at now, and any expectations you have for that pro day.
Uh, well, I expect to perform to the best of my abilities. I watched the combine this past week, really all last week, and I feel like my numbers compared to theirs look pretty good. The pro day will be on March 23rd at Georgia State, at Center Park Stadium, Georgia State University. And right now I'm training up in Canton, Georgia at Velocity Football Academy.
Nice. So I mean, definitely, mark your calendars there. Gonna see some great numbers out of Shamarius there. So, which one of those drills do you think that you've got down? Like, which is the one that you feel is like like you have the most confidence in? Is basically what I'm getting at.
Football drills, or the pro day, like the pro day stuff, like runs and stuff.
Exactly. Well, you know what I mean. Like the whole gauntlet of things they put you guys through, just kind of in general. Which ones do you think you got going? You don't need to drop numbers or anything. I'm just kind of figured, asking where you're at.
I ain't gonna lie. I feel like my bench is gonna. I feel like my bench is gonna be very good. And also, big boys 40s. You never know what's gonna happen on the number one day. But I feel like my 3-cone and my shuttle are also good. And my verdi's actually gotten better while I've been up here training. So
hey man, ain't gonna lie, really excited about what we're gonna see out of you at your pro day. So really do. I mean, as we start to wind down this interview, very last question for you, buddy. I want you to give your one last pitch to all these professional teams out there. I mean, again, tell them what kind of player they would be getting if they took a chance on you, maybe drafted you, signed you, and what you would bring to their program. So go ahead and finish off with that.
Well, like you said, I'm Shamarius Gilmore. I feel like you're getting the all-around player. As an offensive lineman, I can play anywhere on the interior, even if you want to put me on the outside. I feel like I'm physical at the point of attack in the pass and run game. I feel like I'm dominant. I feel like I move my feet well. I feel like I've been well. I'm a kid that stays out of trouble. I'm a kid that's smart. I'm an offensive lineman that's durable, and I feel like that's big in the National Football League. And I feel like my numbers reflect that.
Yeah, man, I ain't gonna lie. I mean, again, a very durable guy, been around for quite some time. Really just continuing to do a fantastic job. Also, a guy who's willing to put in the work, be a great leader on and off the field. A guy who can also give back in the community. So, definitely getting a good guy if we take you for sure. So, Shamarius, do wish you best of luck, buddy, and thanks again for this interview.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
Sure, no problem. Again, Shamarius Gilmore, offensive lineman out of Georgia State. Definitely give this guy a shot and check him out.
Yes, sir.